I lost my spot. Um, bloody hell. Okay. I found myself at the computer on January 11th, 2010. I think it was 2000. Yeah, it was 2010. Waiting for her to come home from the gym. She, of course, had left her webcam on and I mine. While anxiously awaiting my love's arrival home from the gym, I had my browser open looking on Via Rail, Greyhound, and WestJet's website looking into trips to Calgary. This without even consulting her about the trip and our first meeting. Should she agree to me following through with the plans to go see her, of course. I was afraid to ask her about how she felt about this because I was afraid she may say no. But of course I had to ask her. Actually, I told her I was coming. If she was okay with planning, I had to ask her if she was okay with me planning such a meeting. The train and bus trips were out of the question, as the bus was going to take nearly 2.5 days and the train nearly the same. However, I would have to transfer onto a bus to go to her town, as the trains didn't travel there. This made things very difficult for me, as all my life I had sworn I would never set foot on an airplane for any reason at any time. It was just plain out of the question. Plain. But this was not just for any reason. This was to be with and spend time with the love of my life. This was to see, touch, hug, hold, kiss, be with, make love to, and so much more. The love of my life. ML. SWPWML. This was to see and pet her dog Shunda. This was to play it cool and let on like Shunda was just an ordinary dog. I may or may not have really liked the dog in secret. I don't recall. I actually love Shunda. It's a joke between Sandra and I. Rest in peace, Shunda. This was to be born anew. This was to be born anew. This was to experience what it is to live, to love, to enjoy, and partake in life. This was the be-all, end-all of the legacy that Jason H. McComb would leave behind. So as I'm sure you can imagine, I decided I had to find a way around my no-flight policy, as I like to call it. While I was searching the internet for trips to be with her, I heard Sandra's cute little giggle and beautiful little voice say, "You're so cute, what are you doing?" This, of course, startled me, as I had the window with her webcam minimized while I was shopping for the trip online. I minimized the browser and opened her window, and there she was giggling at the way she was giggling at how she had startled me. I asked her how long she had been there. She replied, "Just a few minutes. What were you doing?" I knew I had to ask her her opinion on coming to see her, so I said, "I was looking into airfares to Calgary." She let out a gasp followed by a sigh and quietly said, "I love you so much, Jason." I followed that with, "I love you too, my love. This is why I'm coming to see you." And the most amazing childish moment took place between two fully grown adults. She loudly said, "Yay." My already nervous, racing heart jumped, and my worries were washed away by the sweetest yay I'd ever heard. Sandra at this point asked me if I could hold on a minute, as she had to get changed. I said yes, secretly wishing she had taken the camera along with her so I could watch. Shh. Not a minute later, an unfamiliar voice asked, "Are you seriously coming here?" I had no idea to whom the voice belonged, so of course I had to ask, and then a very pretty blonde young lady appeared on the screen. She introduced herself as one of Sandra's roommates, and I told her, "Yes, I'll be there in 18 days. She replied by saying, "That's so sweet." And then my love was back on the screen, with a smile that no one could ever contend with, for the prettiest, most sincere smile in the world. We talked all night about my upcoming trip, interrupted only by me asking her to hold on for a few minutes. There was something I had to do. So she politely agreed. So I did what anyone would do in the middle of a conversation. I went into the washroom and I shaved my head. The woman I was in love with had told me she liked guys with their head shaved. I had to work in the morning, so it was nearly time to go to sleep. I asked her politely, "Are you going to take me to your room?" She giggled, her cute little devilish giggle, and replied with a question, "Do you want me to take you to my room?" With that devilish yet sexy smile, I said, 18 more days. She replied, "Yay!" and brought the computer to her room. That night we both fought for sleep. She kept looking over and noticing me staring at her. She, like a child, said, you're supposed to be sleeping." All I could do was tell her I was too excited and couldn't sleep, so we started talking again. She looked so tired, so I had to pretend I was too in order that she get some sleep. In the morning, I heard my boss yell through the window, "Jason, buddy, you ready?" So I whispered, "I love you, Sandra, my love," and quickly got dressed, set off to work, and boasted about my upcoming trip to Calgary. Of course, the guys I worked with, in more vulgar wording, told me I was stupid, joked about how ugly and desperate a girl must be to meet me, and made me fully aware of how they knew it wouldn't happen. This didn't deter me as I got to leave work and come home to the computer, and SML would be waiting for me to let her know waiting for me to tell her only 17 more days until I got there, and she would reply with the cutest, most sincere smile and let out a loud "Yay!" This went on every day, along with our intimate moments, conversations, and sleepovers until the day I was to take flight and finally get to hold SWPWML. Sandra, last name omitted, pronounced omitted, my love. SWPWML. I'll get to hold her in my arms, see her in person for the first time, hug her, taste her kisses, make love to her, spoon with her while we slept, just plain be with her. Just like I had been dreaming of being with the woman of my dreams since a small boy, when I once cried, "No one will ever want to be with me. I'll be lonely all my life." After counting down from 18, the day finally arrived that I was to leave for the airport in Toronto to catch my evening flight. I was terrified. On one hand, I was getting on an airplane. On the other hand, I was more than fearful that the love of my life would not love me the way she had expressed she had in recent days once I got off the airplane, providing it didn't crash, of course, and I would get to meet her in person. At the Toronto airport, my fears of flying were overshadowed by the excitement of finally getting to be with my love, ML. I bought a calling card so I could call her and tell her I was at the airport and my plane would leave in just over 5 hours. Yeah, I was a little excited and left early. She answered the phone with her typical cheerful hello. I replied, "I'm at the airport, my love." She in turn yelled, "Yay, I can't believe this is happening." I was in tears. I was scared. I was excited. I was determined. I was in love. We spoke briefly, and I had to step out for a smoke and figure out what I had to do before boarding the plane. Again, this was my first time flying. I traveled through the busy airport, found the exit, and stepped out for 3 consecutive cigarettes. Ventured back inside to figure out what I had to do. Once I figured out the routine, I went ahead and checked in, passed security, and quickly found a payphone to call ML. She answered, and I told her I just went through security. She yelled, "Yay!" I was so overcome with excitement, I had no idea what to say. I asked if she was nervous, and she told me she was shaking. I told her to relax. My flight does not leave for another 4.5 hours. We both giggled, and I told her I had to go out for a smoke and would call her soon. So off I went back outside, not realizing I would have to pass security all nearly 18 to 20 times. I went out for a smoke, and then for something to eat.